I didn't even really want to talk about this situation today after learning of it, but if it makes even one more person aware of what happened here, then I think it's worth it. Emiru today came out and over an hour and a half explained some things that had been going on in her life over the last 3 years, including her relationship with Mizkif. She essentially explains that while they initially grew a deep bond together, the relationship eventually spiraled into one of abuse and assault. She accused him of things like throwing objects at her, creating bruises, controlling her schedule, and even going as far as forcing himself on her when they were no longer in a relationship, and then blackmailing her if she ever threatened to tell anybody about it. He then went on to stalk and obsess over her over a long period of time after the relationship, once she decided that they should not be in contact with each other anymore. Very ironic of him, considering one of the reasons he said he was controlling her schedule and what she posted so much was because he was afraid of stalkers coming to the house and intruding on their safety. Yet once she was out of his life, he was very quick to become the same type of person. I did want to wait until he responded before commenting on the situation, otherwise it would have been a whole lot of he said, she said, and then I come to find out that he responded very quickly, which we'll get into in just a second. Emiru did have some hard evidence as well, mainly evidence of him harassing her post-relationship, messaging her constantly, and a very strange interaction about how he was upset that they were playing the same position in World of Warcraft, which this is clearly not the most important part of this expose video, but I have to talk about this briefly. For those of you who didn't watch Emmy's video, basically Mizkif complains that they're both playing tank in World of Warcraft at the same time, and the reason why he was so upset about this is because he didn't want people in his stream comments to say that Emiru was better at the game than him. Do you know how much of a 5-year-old you have to be for that to be a complaint? Don't get me wrong, like that text exchange is not any evidence of abuse or assault, but it is definitely evidence of character. Emmy further explains that post-relationship there were reports of Mizkif apparently hate watching her streams a lot, telling people they were still in contact, just a whole bunch of signs that not only was he not over her, but he was just obsessive over her as well. But I mean, I guess if I looked like that and fumbled Emiru, I'd probably be in my feels too, but this guy's taking it to a whole new level. Sorry, that was low-hanging fruit. She also mentioned that one of the ways he blackmailed her into not coming out about this was that he threatened to tell the public about how she harmed her rabbits and didn't take care of them, which is relevant to his response, so keep that in mind. Emmy spends a lot of time talking about a bunch of other incidents in their relationship too, like a party they were at together after they broke up. The whole stream is just heartbreaking. I'm gonna leave a link to the video that she posted down below so you can hear the whole thing if you want to. But we're gonna shift over to Mizkif's response now, because this was bad. After Emmy came out with all the things that were happening in their relationship, Mizkif started up his own stream in which he had tried to defend himself. Now, his stream from start to finish was a bit odd. Like, I'm obviously going to go through the ways he defended himself so it's fair I explain both sides of the situation, but his demeanor from the beginning was just a bit weird to me. He starts off his stream by saying yo to the chat like 10 times, and then proceeds to say that he's going to go full demon time.
It's time to go full demon time. It's clearly obvious at this point. It's full demon time. Why not?
Which I think is an interesting way to begin your response to quite serious allegations. He's kind of like smiling and laughing, which, I mean, I don't know if it's kind of just like a response to his nerves, but again, just a strange demeanor to have when facing such serious allegations. He starts off his response by talking about the early days of him and Emiru's relationship and how he was looking to move another girl into his house after his ex left to quote-unquote farm her for content, which I mean, props to him for the honesty, but that's a bit of a strange thing to say in such a situation. He'd then go on to explain how they had feelings for each other at the start, but didn't want to affect their work relationship, and it wasn't until a stalker came up to them at a party with a gun that they were quote-unquote trauma bonded, and that's what started their relationship. Again, I don't know if it's just me, but it just seems like a pretty weird thing to say in such a situation. He then goes on to explain the objects being thrown at her, stating that they weren't thrown with any malicious intent, but rather the fact that she was kind of on his bed and he's just used to throwing things onto his bed and she just happened to be there.
I will throw you and show you an example, chat. I'm brushing my teeth. Right here. Look at me. I would throw my phone on the bed. I I would just lob it over because I was going to bed. So I would just throw the phone.
Which, I mean, this is a poor excuse for accidentally hurting your girlfriend, but if this is the actual truth, then it's not the most heinous act in the world. But we're gonna skip through a lot and talk about the more serious allegations. Again, if you want to see the whole thing, I'm gonna leave a link down below to this response and Emiru's response as well. When talking about the assault claim Emiru made against him, this is what Mizkif had to say.
We cuddled for about 30 minutes and started to kiss. She said that she was okay with this on her stream, and I started to advance to the next stage because I thought that's what she wanted. She yelped, and I immediately sprung up and was scared if I did anything wrong, or did wrong in general. I got scared and left the house. I apologize if that made Emmy uncomfortable for me not saying sorry, and I wish I said sorry back then.
This is essentially a clear-cut confession that Mizkif did in fact essay Emiru. Like, I'm sure this could actually hold up as criminal evidence. That is how clear-cut of a confession this is. Other things where he was being weird and messaging her long after their relationship, he kind of tried to dumb it down to him being confused as to why she wasn't replying anymore, and all of the love letters that he sent over the course of many months were just drunk written, to which that just makes no sense at all. Maybe one drunk message, or even two if you're really pushing it, can be explained, but the amount that he was sending, there's no way that he was just sending drunk messages. Like, he was definitely very conscious of what it was he was trying to do. He was trying to get her back, and again, this whole video he just had this weird demeanor to him. He even tried to look upset at certain points of the video, which wasn't very convincing. He also tried to come to the conclusion that the relationship ended on his terms, which just isn't true if you look at all the messages he sent after. And finally, he did indeed use his trump card, which was Emiru was harming her rabbits.
She completely neglected these animals, and I'm not going to sit around and let people say that she didn't.
I don't know why he would bring up this point at all in this response video, as if this makes everything he did okay. Even if it's true that Emiru was quote-unquote abusing her rabbits, now is definitely not the time to try expose that as one of your talking points, especially after you'd been accused of using it as blackmail. Which, the fact that he even still went over it just proves that he definitely planned on using it as blackmail. That was his trump card, and he just couldn't leave it out for this response. He'd been planning this for months. And then not only was this just a bad time to bring it up because of the blackmail thing, you'd literally just 10 minutes prior admitted to being a abuser, and you think that now is a good time to try and expose Emiru for being a rabbit abuser. Don't get me wrong, if it is true, it is a very bad thing, but now was just not the time. So, final verdict in this situation, Mizkif's career is very likely over. I don't see how he ever collabs with anybody ever again. He even admitted in several points, I didn't really go through it because it's much less important to the overall story here, but he went over at certain points how he's just so obsessed with views and so obsessed with competing with everybody else in the space. That's all over now. I actually wouldn't be surprised if he just got outright banned off Twitch, because I'm sure the platform wouldn't want to associate themselves with people like that any further than they already have, especially in light of recent events. But let me know what you guys think about this. I kind of just wanted to report on this and give you my thoughts. Maybe you think Mizkif's response was satiable and you want to tell me about that in the comments. Feel free to. But that's all I really have to say on this situation. If you're new here, consider subscribing to the channel. We basically post here every day, so I'm gonna catch you guys in the next one. Peace.